Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. There he is. What's going on, Chip? Tonight, we are going to talk about crypto. We're going to talk about blockchain. We're going to talk about Ripple, XRP, and even Vagabond. Garlinghouse seems to be a bit optimistic on the SEC case. And did you get your Trustline set up?
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutamente, Jeff. Absolutamente.
Ready to kick this thing off. There's a whole bunch of other great topics we're going to talk about.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Yeah. What a great night, Jeff. Last night was great.
Oh, it was outstanding, man. Still riding from that.
Still buzzing over that.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Congressman Tom
outstanding. That was fantastic.
I love the comments too. People made some amazing comments, spot on comments. It was like, big fan of Tom Emmer. It's just great to hear somebody who actually represents the people and is actually doing the work of the people versus
and
the work of and cares. And then also pokes fun at themselves too. It's like, hey, yeah, you got to drag us with from our nostrils. So that was a great line. I really love that. I mean, it was really just a really cool thing. I mean, it was really just phenomenal.
And there were some great things to really take out of it. There's some great clips that were cut up and posted out on Twitter today. And so it'd be nice to, rehash some of that. But
yeah, we'll do that.
I was real excited, man, because, it's great seeing him on. The other thing is, you bring in somebody that's actually working in the space. We talk and we analyze and we, get into the different bills that need to be presented in front of Congress. And here we have Congressman Tom Emmer sitting in front of us, in front of the entire On the Chain community, discussing what needs to happen for clear regulatory clarity, and he's on the front lines, fighting for the people, and it's really great to see.
Just phenomenal to see, and I thought it was, and again, we got a lot in a half hour. Obviously, he gave us a half hour's time, and we had some good banter in the pre-show too, so that was kind of fun. It was like really, I just felt really comfortable talking to him. Just great. I mean, it was like we talked a little bit of sport and a bunch of different stuff. It was actually good. You're chuckling again. You must be looking at the.
No, I was just thinking as he came in, that was like pre-show. We were talking, and he came in and he goes, "Oh, great! I'm the only one with a tie on." And it was the same thing we had when we had Warren Davidson. He shows up in a polo short. We got a jacket. He goes, "I watch you guys. You're always on t-shirts."
What's going on?
So I dressed down. What the heck you guys up to?
Yeah, it felt good to throw.
What's with this trickery?
We might do that more often. Just throw a jacket over a t-shirt, Jeff, and it's like it's a pro show. That's how you do it. You'd be like Paul Barron Network, and it'll be the Chiff and Jeff OTC Network. We'll throw blazers on there, and we'll look really pensive like this.
Yes. Yeah.
Stuff like that. But
see that Mr. XRP wore a tie tonight just in case. And then what do? We dress down immediately.
All good to be prepared. Yeah, that lasted for one show, Jeff, but I think we should try to do it for at least a week. Let's go. Can we dive right in, Jeff?
XRP Hollywood said, "I got something on my forehead, and I know that."
You were in the attic. You went like this, and boom, hit the nail on the top of the.
Scratched the whole side of my head.
How did you do that, by the way? Anybody any ideas? How did you do that?
I'm not sure.
Well, that's kind of weird.
It's over here too. I think I was working on some stuff and something fell over, but it's like you don't really notice it. I was just bringing in some boxes or whatever, and it just fell. But it was like the whole side of my head.
Yeah, well, that I don't know. It happens, But see, that's where I've got this up top, covers it up, Just throw a little bit of hair over the top of that. You should be wearing throw a hat on, Jeff. I think a cowboy hat would be good after his line last night about wear a cowboy hat. What the hell?
Yeah, cowboys and cowgirls.
But let's jump right in here.
Don't count us out just yet.
Don't ever count us out. Cowgirl, cowboy spirit, alive and well and kicking.
Chip El Jefe's got it. I was stacking the boxes of clarity. I have them stacked on all the shelves over here.
El Jefe pays attention, Jeff.
He does pay attention. If you want to know where all the boxes of clarity are, you can go to the office. You can come over here, and I've got them stashed away. So people are waiting for a little regulatory clarity. This is where it is.
Then we got bullish Mr. K. He used to be Mr. K, but now he's bullish Mr. K. Said he's streaming here. Spent the last few days trying to get an answer out of Binance AU Australia for the XRP network when they'll come out of suspension for withdrawals. And right now it looks like the 10th of never, but we'll have to see how that goes. You know, we just have to see how that ends up going. But I wanted to jump into this, Jeff. Again, real exciting stuff dropped.
Desert Fox said Gary was throwing those boxes of clarity at my head. And Abby was saying the SEC called you into the office.
Jeff, come down to the
Daddy
office.
G.
You got
Daddy
to get a hall pass first as you head down there, and you have a couple little stops along the way, knocking a couple doors, hang out with your friends. At least that's how I went when that happened to me quite often. My parents were always like, "So you got detention again?" I'm like, "Yeah, kind of just happens." Probably should have said that, but I think it just slipped out, you know.
Yeah. And
always like the other parent teacher conferences are like, "Yep, you won again." I'm like, "What did I win?" They got the class clown every single time. You got it. That's apparently you've won that award. I'm like, wow, I don't aspire to be that. It just sort of happened along the way, and a lot of boredom. But look at this, Jeff. We're excited to announce. This is Ripple puts out a tweet. This happened 3 hours ago, so it's very timely. We're excited to announce our partnership with the Republic of Palau to explore the country's very first national digital currency using the XRPL. Jeff, do you know where Palau is?
I was just going to look it up because you know what? I don't. Do you have any idea where it is?
Well, the only reason I do know where it is, and I'll show you my tweet right here. It's like, thanks to Survivor, Jeff, the show, you know, thanks to Survivor and true to form when it comes to cross-border payments, digital currencies, anything, Ripple will outwit, outplay, and outlast to be the victors. And as everyone knows, to the victors go the spoils. And there it is right there. That was the 10th season of Survivor. Used to watch it with my girls when they were little, and I recall this very well. But yeah, the island of Palau, it was like just the phenomenal. People are like, Palau. Well, Vanuatu is another one I wouldn't have known. I don't think I've ever heard of Vanuatu before Survivor. So, and I'm like, this is so fitting for really what's going on in the whole ecosystem of really with digital assets. You know, you've had Ripple. It's been around for a long time. They've been laying down the rails. And I want to get into another tweet that I think is very, very timely and really kind of
people live there, Chip.
What's that?
18,000 people.
And that's a lot. It's a lot more than I expected. It's a very tiny island, but a very beautiful one too. I remember the season pretty well. But Jeff, outwit, outplay, outlast. That really ought to be the motto. It's really what's going on. And you think about outwit, SEC, outplaying everybody behind the scenes, laying down the rails, doing their thing, not stopping for nobody. And of course, you have outlast. So I thought, gosh, how cool was this to sort of tie this whole thing in? And you know, it's kind of a little bit of a junkie there.
XRP Speedboat said, out hunting the wild Gensler.
The wild Gensler. It's like we've caught the wild Gensler. We're on a 40. Yeah, we're on a 40-foot trawler here. We've got the Gensler. He's coming up out of there, and he's just escaped. That's possible, Jeff. It could happen, right?
So where's that tweet with Palau? What's the deal with Palau? What's going on?
So let's go into this. So let me throw up the other one here. So here it is right here. Here's the blog post. I want to throw this up. The Republic of Palau partners with Ripple to develop. Now, Jeff, this is really cool for a lot of reasons, but there's one really particular interesting one to develop the digital currency strategy, right? Yep. Look at that, Jeff. I remember the season. I'm like, man, where is that? That's absolutely gorgeous. So they have this new partnership with the Republic of Palau to explore the country's first digital currency and its use cases with what, Jeff? That's right. XRP. The XRP Ledger, right?
Ooh, right to their ledger. Nice.
Right to the ledger.
It's interesting. Why don't they just use XRP?
The partnership will initially focus on developing strategies for cross-border payments. Did someone say cross-border payments? And a USD-backed digital currency for Palau. This could see the implementation of the world's first government-backed national stablecoin for the first half of 2022, for which Ripple would provide Palau with technical, business, design, and policy support. Meanwhile, exploring a USD-backed stablecoin and associated use cases, such as a corporate registry on the XRP Ledger. Now, Jeff, what you notice here that's different from most anything else, it's not a private ledger. So we're talking about, this is the public ledger. This is the XRPL. This is not they have a public version and a private version. They're talking about the public version.
I like it. I think what a great idea. You know, the fact that, you know, anytime, and this will be a sandbox in the wild. They said catching a Gensler in the wild. This is a sandbox in the wild. I mean, think about if you're going to test market a product like this, what better place to do it than, you know, a small community, you know? And so you have 18,000 people, you know, that'd be like going to a community somewhere in, let's say, West Palm Beach, say, hey, you know, in Boca, let's say Boca, say, we're going to roll out the Boca coin or the Boca token. How about that?
Boca Toca. Boca Toca.
Boca Toca. You're going to roll out the Boca Toca and we're going to test market it. And you're going to have your own asset. And then it's going to be strictly on the actual ledger.
Well, there you go. And so as part of the commitment to lead in financial innovation and technologies, we're delighted to partner with Ripple, said President Sarango Whips Jr. And he said the first phase of the partnership will focus on the cross-border payment strategy and exploring options to create a national digital currency, providing the citizens of Palau with greater financial success, or access, I should say, sorry. Palau understands the potential for financial technologies, including blockchain, to transform its economy and position the country as a highly desirable country to do business with. So they're setting themselves up. And it's funny how a smaller country can move pretty fast, right? They don't have a lot of friction in it. The same technologies will also transform how its citizens access financial services and enable efficient cross-border remittances.
And just skip that paragraph and go straight to the last sentence of that paragraph.
What, the same technology right here?
No, go to the next paragraph below that and last sentence.
Oh, here we go.
What's more, the XRPL provides significant benefits such as scalability, speed, and low cost. The rest of that paragraph there is just fluff.
Right on.
We're excited to be working with Palau to achieve its financial goals. That's it. It's great. We have wonderful opportunity to bring together our technology and experience with the unique characteristics of Palau to make a real economic impact for the country. That's impressive.
Yeah, and it kind of reiterates the things we already know. But again, this is, you know, it's getting it out to more people. The XRP Ledger provides financial institutions, government bodies such as Palau, the ability to fully settle transactions for a fraction of a penny. Again, this is becoming so important, Jeff, because what we see happening over on Ethereum, we just had a giant crypto millionaire whale abandon the project just because of the gas fees, and they are ridiculous. And you and I both know we deal with it quite often. Yeah, to date, more than 5,400. I thought that one tweet, I always laugh about it. Yeah, I bought a meal, you know, one of these fast food meals for like $6. It cost me $100, $6 for the meal because I bought it with Ethereum, and the other, you know, $94 was for the gas fees. You know,
gas fees for the transaction.
And I always think about the gas phase, Jeff. But to date, more than 5,400 currencies have been issued and traded. Do you know where that 5,400 currencies issued and traded on the XRP Ledger?
No, I was reading that, and I had no idea. How is that?
That's the interoperability, right? So going from one fiat to another fiat, different currencies. But I would have never guessed 5,400. Like I'm thinking, there's like 1,000, right?
Yeah,
but
5,400. That's a big number.
Right, but it's also you're dealing with this integrated, the DEX, the centralized exchange, and its custom token functionality makes it easy to create, issue, and manage any asset, including stablecoins. And it's so funny that we were not too long ago, Jeff, talking about stablecoins. I know that David Schwartz proposed that. He said, yeah, you could use the XRPL to create a stablecoin. And back then it was like, oh, I bet you could probably use it. Maybe you could even get into that. But I thought this tweet here, this was from Monica Long. And we all know that Monica Long is the general manager of RippleX. And she put this tweet out. And then this is kind of interesting wording here. It says, incredible potential for Ripple's partnership with Palau, the world's first government-backed national stablecoin. Then she says, what's this word, Jeff? Could come to the XRPL. Thanks to its could. Now, what I'm saying, like, could come to the, wait a minute. We just heard that it was coming to that. And then I read could, and it said next year. But if you read it in context, she's saying it could come next year. But it looks like it could come, like it might come, and then it might not. So it's just kind of a weird thing. I read that 3 times, and I was like, well, I think she's referring to could come to the XRP next year, is what she's saying.
Do you know what their main export is?
Bananas, Jeff. I don't know.
Seems like it's fish.
Oh, let's see. Wow, there's a lot of fish in the water.
So Paulo's main exports are fish and related products. So I mean products that are related to fish.
Is that what it
So
means?
they export to Japan, the U.S., and Mexico, and then its main imports, which I think would be pretty much be everything else, oil, fish. They're they're exporting fish, and one of their main imports are fish, machinery, and equipment. Then they have Japan, the U.S., Singapore, and the Republic of Korea are main import partners. So that'd be South Korea. Did you know that South Korea is also a major importer of fish product, that they don't really have a very large fishing industry? I was shocked.
I did not know that, Jeff.
I went to the fish market in Seoul, and it's massive. The fish market in Seoul is kind of like the size of a Costco, and it's massive. And you walk around every
Smell
type
like fish.
It's crazy. Every type of seafood product you can imagine. A lot of it, most of it alive, some of it not. But you can basically buy your fish, right? They'll fillet it for you, take it up to the restaurant, one of the restaurants in the upper area, and they'll cook it up for you.
Nice. Did it smell like fish though? Because like that's like
no, it wasn't bad at all. It was like going into a fish store. It was all fresh because everything was alive. But
yeah, it's not sitting rotting.
Expensive. It was ridiculous how expensive it was. I couldn't believe how expensive it was.
Okay, so I want to focus on this next tweet here. This is Baba Cugs here, and I wanted to play this because I thought this was a brilliant tweet. And again, it's all about perspective when we're looking at anything. But at Baba Cugs says the amount of people who focus on the size of the country is truly concerning. In chess, you move the pawns first. Bhutan and Palau is the pawn, right? So we had big news come out of Bhutan, big news out of Palau, and then people are going like, "Well, it's only got 18,000 people," you know. And again, that's sort of the wrong way to look at it. I kind of like Baba Cugs coming in here, and the way it's being framed right here, it's like, hey, in chess, you always move those pawns first. You can't move, you can't. What else you can? You got to get them out of the way, right? London plus many, many more. Everything is done behind the scenes. More countries to come, faster or faster, fastest. What do you think about that, Jeff?
Yeah, I kind of tend to agree. You got to start someplace, and you're not going to dive into to one of the primary markets and say, hey, let's roll it out. Especially you got to take baby steps, but at the same time you have to prove the case. So you're going to go and try to get some wins. Once you establish those wins, and it's a lot easier to get a win with a smaller nation like that. Similar to, imagine rolling out RippleNet and trying to throw the whole package at everybody. But they went for small wins, little victories, throw out the RippleNet solution. And same thing even in the overall crypto asset space. And I think we heard a little bit of relevance to that strategy last night from Congressman Emmer when he was referencing the Token Taxonomy Act and how it was so inclusive. There are so many elements to the Token Taxonomy Act, covering a large variety of topic that need to be adjusted and amended. And then he's coming in with a proportional addressing of legislation that's a segment. And let's get a victory somewhere. Let's get one victory. That's why I even thought, as much as we mocked it, which was the bill that was passed referencing, creating a work group between the SEC and the CFTC to discuss crypto. I said, at least there was one victory. Get the victory.
Something.
Then it goes to the Senate and nothing happens. But still was a victory. Passed through Congress. You keep stacking up little victories, and sometimes you got to do it that way. So Palau, Bhutan. I like how Baba Cugs was referencing that. I think it was really spot on.
Especially to be in the pawns, right? Moving that. And then Panos came out with this. He said, is this the biggest news of the year? This is a CBDC coming on the public decentralized XRP Ledger, not Ripple's private CBDC Ledger, a government-backed stablecoin on the XRP Ledger. And I do think that's quite insightful, because you forget about what's going on everywhere else. Look, you get these two nations moving forward, and what they clearly see, very similar to Bhutan, cross-border remittances, the cross-border payments, to be able to, very cost-effectively, be able to move across the XRPL, and we just saw it's 5,400 currencies there, so it can go in and out of digital assets, in and out of whatever fiat currencies you want. And that's going to be important to some, a smaller country rather, I should say, that is looking to put itself on the map, establish itself, establish the trade out there. And that's why this is going to be very key and important. But I love this story. I thought it was just phenomenal. Well said.
Perfect. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, really so it's good. And it was weird because it kind of came out. I was like, wait a minute, this is, because you remember California time, maybe they put stuff out like the afternoon, and it was already, I think, 5 o'clock or when this news hit, which was pretty new.
Yeah. Sweet.
So it was good stuff, man. And yeah, what else you got, Jeff? You got something else? You got nothing, right?
Got nothing. That's it.
On,
what
Jeff,
else? What else we got? What about how about the Nets as a Ripple partner?
That's a really
UnionPay International teams up with who? With the Nets. That's kind of cool, right? Actually, it's a service provider, right?
Nets. Yeah, it's Nets, and I think it's a European company, but they are a. Let me see, where is that? I thought I had another story in here. Yeah, there is UnionPay.
I got it right here.
Throw it up there. Yeah,
so UnionPay International teams up with payment service provider Nets. This is interesting, right? So what do we got here? Global payment company UnionPay has reached an agreement with European payment service provider Nets that will allow UnionPay to expand its contactless acceptance throughout the Nordic region. That's really cool. To see that kind of expansion and the focus. And this also really shows, you can't conquer the world. Look at all these little partnerships that you can reference. There, a lot of them are regional. So we just went from, Bhutan and Palau to the Nordic region, and for contactless POS terminals. And I think that's pretty solid. Now, as you dive into this related news, you have the cross-border here. Where's the Ripple component here? There's something in here.
I'll tell you where it is. So let me try to draw the parallel here. I'll go back to this story here. So every time I see it, it's not in that one. It's actually here.
Oh, it's in the there you go.
Now this happened back in 2019. Because I always you remember Nets sounds familiar. I kind of remember Nets. What is the whole thing with Nets? So this was so I found this article here. This is 2019. Ripple will benefit from a Nets acquisition by MasterCard. So back in 2019, MasterCard purchased the Denmark-based network for a whopping $3.19 billion. And then it said it could be more important to Ripple. This is back when Corey Johnson had worked for, but this was after I believe he left, but it talks about no secret the XR community has its focus on the impact of Libra, but the MasterCard deal could be more significant for Ripple's network. And then talks about MasterCard. This is, 2 years ago when they were getting in the payments race. Ripple will offer MasterCard on-demand liquidity. And I think there's some speculation in this article here. But the fact is, Nets is a partner. So then if you want to go in that other article, they're already a partner of Ripple. So we're kind of reading into it a little bit. But again, this is what happens with these partnerships, Jeff. You have to really, pay attention to let's put that on a little bit. But you got to pay attention because a lot of times these names, you go like, I know that name. You start looking around. Oh, yeah, they're a Ripple partner. Because a lot of times the news isn't like what Ripple's doing. It's what kind of partnership, it's what their partners are doing. So you've got that multiplier. They're out there doing stuff. They're out there talking with people. And you're like, okay, but we miss a lot of that news. I mean, that's just some of the stuff we happen to pick up on. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff happening that maybe doesn't even make the press, doesn't make the news. And it's going on and you're just missing it. And this is why Ripple's really positioned itself really well, because everyone's like, oh, there's an SEC lawsuit. Yeah, but what's going on behind the scenes? You're talking about 8 years of laying rails. You're talking about, technology that's still, the leader. And then, we had that speculative, I say speculative, I don't know to confirm the actual authenticity of it, but, that JP Morgan coming out and saying that, Ripple would crush it if they were to gain adoption, right?
Yeah, I think that there's definitely some good points to that. I like what Norseman's saying here. Crypto.com has YouTube ads that that's exactly what XRP needs to do. XRP, and we're really seeing that Crypto.com crushing it. Crypto.com's digital asset also crushing it. They also just put in a $700 million 19 year contract to take over the Staples Center, which will now be Crypto.com Arena. So that's some big money. But with all that, Chip, and you're talking about the news and the development and the growth in the space. And then you've got, so Martin Valkier was saying the Ripple XRP news, Ripple makes good progress on its legal case against the SEC. So says the CEO. I'm looking, I say, hey, we can read this article, or, we can go to this other tweet that Leonidas put up, said Brad Garlinghouse on CNBC, SEC lawsuit resolution in 2022. So I thought this was kind of interesting, worthy of playing as well. Let's get rid of that. It's this short. We don't have to play the whole thing, but we're going to play a little bit of it. You know what? Forgot to click something. Forgot
click the sound. That's what always happens when you're doing this stuff,
Click.
What is it?
Sound.
Anyway.
Why even give you an option? Well, I guess if you don't want to play the sound. Okay, here we go. Ready? Kick this thing off. Here we go.
Abu Dhabi is underway, and I had a chance to speak with the Ripple CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, who weighed in on a number of issues around the sector and the company during our conversation. So I started by getting his view on some of the macro trends driving momentum in Bitcoin and other major cryptocurrencies through the pandemic and where prices could go next. He said, of course, we've seen increased adoption here. There's new institutional support, positive regulatory developments in the crypto space as well. But he also said there's one other major trend.
Yeah. Jeff, so as we're looking on the screen, they've got, of course, Bitcoin, USD, they've got ETH, USD, and Coinbase showing it. And then they got Ripple/USD. So, they still can't figure it. The news, this is how we really laugh about this. But, we all know better, right? We are like, okay, Ripple's the company, XRP, but they still can't get it right, Jeff. This was on CNBC, wasn't it?
This was CNBC, and thanks to XRP Arcade for putting it out there on Twitter. But yeah, this was on CNBC. And you're right. I'm looking at this. They're all fired up. The guy's excited. You got the coin rush. He's about to talk to the CEO of Ripple, and we're going to talk about the progress, and then nothing.
Ripple USD. Come on, dude. Seriously, you're on a show called The Coin Rush, and you can't even get it right. I mean, but again, this is where we are. Mainstream, press doesn't have it right. However, CNBC has gotten it right with other shows. They have actually put XRP, and I remember people celebrating, like, "Oh my God, they finally got it right. They finally put it." But I just wanted to make that one little thing because I'm always shocked that in today they still don't know the difference between the company and the digital asset.
I wonder also if the SEC doesn't have something to do with that. I wonder if the SEC's over there pulling some strings with these financial groups and saying, "Hey, mainstream NASDAQ," because it looks like where he's streaming from or reporting from, and then posting up there, "Hey, when you reference XRP, you're going to reference it as a security, or you're going to tie it back to Ripple." I don't know. Crazy things are happening right now. Can't always believe everything you see on the.
This is pretty funny. So Am's Future says, well, they need to stop hiring James Vanderbeek lookalike wannabes as their host. I thought that was good. He does really kind of. We got to pull a picture of him up, James Vanderbeek, because he kind of has that look, right? I wouldn't have guessed that, but I always like that. When I'm traveling with one of my colleagues, we always have the game. Usually in the airport, it's like name that celebrity. So you try to find out who that celebrity is. I'm going to say that's a pretty good James Vanderbeek. You know who James Vanderbeek is?
I have no idea who this is, but I just pulled him up. Let's see.
Throw him up there on the screen there if you can find one where he doesn't have his shirt off.
Yeah, he's got his shirt off.
Yeah, you got to find one that he doesn't have his shirt off. Let me throw this.
They're all coming up with this shirt. There we go. Did you find one?
Yeah, I did. I found one right here. Let's put this. Here we go. Let's throw this up. There you go. Yeah, it's a dead ringer right there. That might even be James Vanderbeek, Jeff. I don't know, but it just actually might be him, Jeff. That's a really solid call right there. And there's a tremendous resemblance there. That actually, look at the eyes, the slant, everything, Jeff.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Gosh almighty.
Vanderbeek has a slightly longer face.
Maybe. You might have that, Jeff, but that's
maybe
a good
his hair is just cut shorter.
Solid call right there. Solid call right on there. You shouldn't hire James Vanderbeek.
Nice.
And some of these other pictures, it kind of looks just like him.
It's perfect. That's hilarious.
Right. Incredible.
All right. Here we go. Let's continue.
Trend that's really making him and others pretty bullish on cryptos over the long term. Listen in.
Another macro trend that certainly people have talked about, I think creates tailwinds for the crypto industry, is global inflation. Here at home in the United States, you're seeing inflation that we haven't seen for decades. And when people are concerned about holding a fiat currency that might be inflating and thus devaluing, they're looking at how can I hold other assets that won't have that same inflationary dynamics. So look, I'm not here to predict exactly where the crypto markets will be next year, but I think if you step back and take a long view, a 5-year view, a 10-year view, these are real technologies that are fundamentally reworking how our financial infrastructure works. And I
think he's bullish.
I think he's bullish, Jeff. But here's my other question. Like, this is the thing. Like, this is what happens every time I watch a movie or something. There's one thing going on screen, and it just drives me insane, right? Or there's something happening in the background, and all of a sudden, the whole suspension of belief is like shot. I'm like, what's going on over there? And I can't even just enjoy what's happening. But what's killing it right now for me is like, can we get this company that's worth 10 billion plus? Can we get the CEO a decent mic, Jeff? Do we have to send him a decent mic? I mean, can we do a fundraise? Because there's like, hello, yeah, I'm Brad Garlinghouse. Oh, there's like a big echo in the room. I'm like, man, just get yourself a decent mic. I mean, we got to do a fundraising campaign, a GoFundMe to get Garlinghouse a traveling mic that he can just plug into his computer. Maybe
that'd be a good one. We should do a GoFundMe. We should do a fundraise for a mic and we'll get him a nice microphone and send it to him.
Yeah, I'm going to start a Twitter campaign because, I mean, we want him to sound sharp. He's looking sharp, Jeff. He's got the look down. The lighting is solid.
You know what, Chip? We can do a fundraise and get him one of these Shure mics, except the thing is we're going to have to put the On The Chain logo on it.
Put the On The Chain logo on there, and he still won't come on the show,
logo, Jeff. And then we'll ship it to him, and we'll put it on the reverse side, kind of where you see this. This will be the On The Chain logo, and we'll be like, and every time he'll use it, he'll say On The Chain.
Jeff, think about it like this. There's no bigger purveyors like really out there doing a show. They're really covering the topic of not only Ripple, XRP, really into the whole thing. And the funny thing is, we won't even come on the show. It's like, meanwhile, he's going on a James Van Der Beek lookalike who doesn't know the difference between Ripple and XRP. Jeff, come on. We know the difference. I think that puts us in line for the next interview, potentially.
Well, to be fair, we haven't invited him on yet.
We haven't, Jeff? Okay, that's okay. Well, I take all that back. How do we invite him? Let's invite him.
Maybe we should invite him.
I think we're going to invite him on here.
We have to have like 25,000 or 30,000 subs, and then we'll invite him on.
No, I'm going to work on it tomorrow, Jeff. See if he wants to come on. I think he'd have a
great
time.
The other thing is his lighting is as bad as mine.
I'm going to give him a little bit of break on the lighting. Sometimes the lighting's tough to navigate, but the sound, Jeff,
difficult to navigate.
But the sound
every time I adjust it, his sound is bad. Okay.
Yeah, the sound is rough, man.
So we're gonna do a fundraise, and we're gonna get him a nice mic.
Just send it to him, man.
And then we'll say, please come on the chain. But if you do come on, you need this mic.
Yeah, we're gonna get him the SMB. It's the same ones we use the same mics that Rogan uses, and most of the podcasters out there use, and we get him an arm and. It's like
I think it would be fair too, because we'll say, look, if you're going to come on the chain, at least sound right. It'd just be embarrassing to bring him on, and he won't sound.
Congressman Emmer sounded. He was crisp. Everything was good.
Was solid.
It was perfect.
His tech is up to par.
Right on,
good tech. He had good lighting, good video, everything.
I don't mean to jump on it,
10 degrees where he was.
Man, go ahead. Let's listen to the rest of this here.
Were we talking about crypto? Are we doing today's Tech Tuesday.
Tech Tuesday. Talk about Tech
video,
Tuesday.
Audio, Tech Tuesday.
That's what we got
on the chain for a Tech Tuesday.
Let's do it.
All your technical needs on one video.
Press play.
I'm very bullish and very optimistic about what that longer term horizon looks like.
So, there is a lot happening in this space. We saw Bitcoin hitting an all-time high of almost $70,000 earlier on in the month. And despite falling below.
Dude, Andy has Brad Garlinghouse on now.
Dude, and we got to hear him talk more than Garlinghouse. Why are we hearing him talk about it? Just put Garlinghouse on there, James Van Der Beek lookalike.
And then he's going to come back and he's going to say, "Well, how do you feel about Ripple USD trading at like $1.04 while Bitcoin is 56,000?" That's what he says.
60,000 in recent days. Its year-to-date return has really outpaced even the most traditional hedges against inflation, such as gold. Interesting as well, while Garlinghouse is pretty bullish on the outlook for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, he says not all coins are created equal. I asked him about Dogecoin. That's the cryptocurrency based on the viral internet meme that started as a joke back in 2013. He says, buyer beware. And that's because he says Dogecoin as a joke might not necessarily be good for the crypto market long term. Of course, the elephant in the room here, though, is regulation in this sector. And we know Ripple is at the center of this bitter dispute with the SEC. It filed a lawsuit against Ripple back in December, alleging that sales of its XRP token constituted the unregistered sale of a security.
And he still got the Ripple up there. I think he just said the Ripple token.
He said XRP. Their sales of XRP. Yeah, he said, well, it's over their sales of XRP. But again, he's reading a teleprompter, Jeff. I mean, I can read teleprompters like a pro, but I at least know what I'm reading for the most part.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
Garlinghouse said he's hopeful for a resolution next year, given the.
Is this the Garlinghouse interview or James Vanderbeek lookalike telling us about it, Jeff? I thought we were going to see the Garlinghouse one.
So far, he interviewed him and gave him like 10 seconds. He cut up his thing, and now he's just kind of telling us what he said.
And it was like probably the Doge was like, hey, buddy, what do you think of Doge? He's like, well, buyer beware, be careful. Blah, blah. And it's becoming one of the main parts of this, of what the interview was. But Jeff, that's what we ought to do. We ought to put like clips of Congressman Warren Davidson and also Tom Emmer, put them up there, and we'll just say, and then Tom Emmer, Congressman Emmer said this, and then Congressman Emmer said about that, and then we'll play a little tiny clip when we asked them about like one insignificant question. We'll put Warren Davidson when we asked them, and then they said this. And Jeff, what else did he say? Well, he also talked about the U.S. and how they're going to. I mean, come on, man. How long? How short? What was the interview? 3 minutes? Was that 30 seconds?
Well, so far it's like 10 seconds, and he must have talked to him for more than 10 seconds. How
do we know he even said it? Is there any proof of it?
There's no proof at all. He's just making it up as he goes along.
This could have for the entire sector. Listen.
We're seeing pretty good progress despite a slow-moving judicial process in the federal courts. Clearly we're seeing good questions asked by the judge, and I think the judge realizes this is not just about Ripple. This will have broader implications, and I think that's a very good thing. I'm hopeful that, certainly in 2022, there'll be closure here. But look, I think seeing countries like the UAE provide leadership.
He said, I'm hopeful.
Well, what's he supposed to say, Jeff? I mean, I would say, I'm hopeful too. I mean, everyone's hopeful. What's he supposed to be? I'm confident we're going to crush this thing. Look, he's saying the right things, given the position where they are. Yeah, I'm hopeful that there's going to be, it's gonna be done next year. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I would think that's gonna happen.
Yeah. Dude, is this guy wearing eyeliner?
I don't know, Jeff. I'm not a good person to really analyze that. I'll be honest with you.
I don't. All right. Let's continue.
It's not my thing that I'm really into, but
I'm looking at him like, man, these guys, the hair is perfect. All right.
I mentioned Japan and Singapore and Switzerland. Ultimately, we need those things on a global basis. And if you look at the macro trend line for crypto regulation globally, you're seeing it's moving very much in a positive direction. That's not to say there are countries like, say, China or India that have at times stepped back and had concerns. But in general, the direction of travel is very positive.
So Ripple has.
What do you think of that? China.
Yeah. So I was just trying. So what's really weird is when I try to look up the clip on CNBC, they broke it down into little bits like they did here. They broke it into like 30-second clips, and I'm like, it's mine. Where do you watch the whole interview from? And there's like the click here to watch the entire interview. Man. What I would prefer to actually watch, or read about it. But again, it's
well, we can hear him talk about it. Yeah, but
I'd like to hear that.
I like how he gives us like the preface of the whole thing, kind of explains everything that he says, and then lets us hear it.
Kind of. I mean, he doesn't see. I still want to hear Garlinghouse talk about Dogecoin or the context. He's like, he doesn't think buyer beware. Yeah, but you got to put it in context though. And the funny thing about Dogecoin is that yes, it's based on the meme coin from 2014, 2015, whatever that was when it was going around. It was a joke. but it's since got some utility because it's going to be one of the assets that's going to be available to use on the Flare network when it launches. So there you go. It has utility. Hey, just, you know, got lucky, just sort of stepped into it by mistake. And that happens too. I mean, it's always a possibility that that will happen.
So right. Everybody jumped on that one. Look at that. Even Hans Loaded said it looks like bejeweled eyelashes.
Bejeweled. Oh gosh, Jeff, that bejeweled stuff. My girls used to have that. Everything was bejeweled. It was like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff on it, but I just couldn't find anything that was that good. I mean, so jumping right along here, I'm not going to be able to find something on it. I'd just like to play the whole thing in context and not have James Van Der Beek lookalike. This just makes me laugh. So this right here I thought was great. Again, John Deaton again, he put this tweet out. He said, I have objective empirical evidence that almost 60% of XRP holders acquired XRP for the first time, completely unaware of Ripple. Under Howey, it's difficult to establish purchasers of XRP were relying on the promises and inducements of a promoter or company they're oblivious to. And this is Attack Titan says, you know, when I first bought XRP, I had no idea what I was doing, much less who Ripple was. Didn't know about Satoshi when I bought Bitcoin. I didn't know about anything behind Ethereum when I first bought ETH. I was doing it because it was new, interesting, and difficult. Massimo chimes in and says that not only that, but go find one single instance where any effort by Ripple, partnerships, on-demand liquidity, whatever, has actually done anything to propel the XRP price upward. We've talked about that same thing here. At this point, if anyone had any expectations, they must have been smoking some heavy stuff, Jeff. You know, it almost seems like when good news would come out, the price would tank. So there's no correlation between any of that stuff that would potentially happen. Yeah, those were the best ones right there. But again, I thought that was pretty interesting. And I'm guessing it has to do with the people who were involved with participating in the 62,000, right? Because I think one of the things on there, if I remember answering it, was who is a or how did you find out about Ripple or something like that? Wow, dude, you're going down, Tony. You're going down. I'm taking you down, man. It's gonna be.
Oh, that's great.
Don't be surprised if you're walking around New York City, buddy, and then some madman tackles you at about 100 miles an hour. Look, dude, you know all us white people look the same. I can't even tell us apart. I'm going to be real honest about that. I can't tell us apart. First of all, my head's fatter and wider, but that's a really rough one, man. But that's a real big dig, man. You gotta, when someone tackles you full speed, and I can run faster than you think, and you just go down. You won't even know I hit you, man. You're just gonna go boom, face. Man. Tony, wow, that's
perfect,
dude. That's tough, man. Well, that's all right.
Awesome.
I mean, it's not the worst thing that people have called me or compared me to, Jeff. So I mean, I'll take that to the. But I got to do some more smiling. That guy was all with the and you're Garlinghouse. He was doing all this thing. I couldn't stop watching that. I was like, stop focusing in on that weird mouth movement, Jeff. I was like, I couldn't figure it out. But thanks, Tony. I really appreciate that.
Oh, that's great.
Hey, by the way, are you coming to the Miami meetup on December 9th? I'm just asking for a friend. I'm just asking.
Oh, yeah, there's an XRPL meetup coming up.
Yeah.
Next December 9th.
That's right.
So that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
December 9th, XRPL meetup.
Good. Meetup.
That'll be sweet.
Jeff and I'll be there.
Yeah, we will be.
It's terrific.
So what's up with this, Matt? There's some really cool things going on, Chip. We got Polygon is proposing a Uniswap swap, all right, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But then we got the Vagabond airdrop. Now, if you haven't set up your trust lines yet, now's the time to do it, right? Because that XRPL or the Vagabond airdrop on the XRPL is actually coming soon. So if you have XRP, you got to get your trust lines established. The Zum wallet is probably one of the easiest ways to do it, right? The Zum. If you don't know what Zum is, XUMM, go check it out. And then you can set up your trust line. It was actually pretty easy to do going through the process. But you look at it, you're like, how do I do it? Well, if you go and you can find Vagabond, and once you have the Zum app set up on your phone, then you can just go over here, you click on that trust line from Vagabond, and then it basically sets it up for you.
Look at this right here. So we got EC 2189. Keku says, Chip, the offensive line was weak. You got sacked. Don't worry, I always get up. It's all right. I don't know what that means exactly, Jeff, but okay. But I wanted to point this out. So are you ready for the airdrop? I dropped it in there. It's vagabondapp.io/airdrop. And again, I dropped it in the chat right there.
Nice.
But look, we're looking at potentially getting these guys on the show. I think this Jeff and I have been looking at this project, find it to be very interesting. Set your trust line. If you haven't done it already, you click this, you set up your trust line. If you set up a trust line, it's pretty simple to do. Now, one of the things that's key here, you have to fill out that form. There's a form below. The thing is that just like with anything, sometimes there's bots, some multi-wallet things. You know, anytime you offer something, people are going to find a way and to kind of go around that. You know, the greed or the human spirit that's not the best part kind of like goes in there. December 1st is coming up, 12 o'clock CET time, which I believe is that Central European time. We will do a snapshot of all registered accounts. So basically, you got to register. You set up your trust line, you fill out the form, and then you wait until they send you your VGB tokens. Now, for each account that they capture in the snapshot, they do a 1-to-1 ratio of VGB compared to XRP to all eligible accounts. So it's important that you fill out that form so that you're eligible. And then they cap the airdrop amount to a maximum of 1,000 VGB coins for every account with more than 1,000 XRP. The order is first come, first served until they hit 20 million tokens.
And that's it. So that means that if you're on your Zum, you have to have your 1,000+ XRP sitting on the Zum wallet, and you have to have your Vagabond trust line established, and you have to fill out the form, and you're going to grab your Vagabond address that you set up on the Zum, and you're going to plug it in over here somewhere. So you put in, there it is, right there where it says account address. That's the account address that you're going to put. It's really just your Zum address because they're all the same.
Exactly. They're all the same, right? So
it's kind of like your MetaMask. You have one address, it filters it on its own, but you set up the trust line within it, and then you fill this out, and you're good to go. And that's it. What do you want to hear from us next? I don't want any emails, but what's cool on that chip, I thought, was NFT Marketplace. That's what I checked.
Well, I actually like the NFT game because I like to see some really cool NFT games coming. But they're going to build it all. It's just a matter of what the order they're going to build it in. So I would be down for an NFT Marketplace as well. But again, I really think this team is sharp. I think this project is sharp. I think it's something we really need to pay attention to, and it's going to be exciting to watch. And again, all the developers that are coming in and developing, we had nothing, and now you got to be careful with the trust lines too. But again, this is an established project. I think it's going to be one of the better ones out there. It's going to do.
Mike is saying that airdrop sounds like a one-time dividend or a security, but it really isn't. It's just it's a distribution of their asset, and there's no dividend because you're not holding.
No, there's no dividend.
You're not holding Vagabond at that point. So you're getting
right. There's no value to it as well.
Based on what was going on the ledger. Now there is another airdrop coming up where the snapshot will be on December 24th. So make note of that one, and we'll talk about that as we get closer. And that's with Sologenic, and that's going to be not the Sol token, but the Solo for Sologenic. So there's Solana, which is SOL, and there's Solo, which is Solo. All right. So that one's coming up. Hans Loaded is asking about, can I have more than one account with 1K XRP each and have, I think you can, Chip, I'm not 100% sure because
here's the thing.
All valid accounts. I think once you register, they probably only allow per email, right? What do you think?
Well, here's what I can tell you. I know that I was looking at, I'll probably pull up the tweet here in a second, but I think right now they've got roughly around 25,000 valid accounts. Okay. So they have the distribution. So what they're saying is they cap the airdrop to a maximum of 1,000 VGB for every account with more than 1,000 XRP. The order is first come, first served until we hit 20 million. So if you kind of do the math, they only have 25,000 right now, and they've got a distribution, and that's roughly 25,000 VGB. Anything above that is first come, first served, the way they're going to do the distribution. That's the way I understand it.
Yeah. So Anna is saying, seems like Vagabond will be counting the XRP that's locked up in trust lines. I'll confirm shortly. Yeah, I think that's the case too. I think it has to be locked up in the Trustline, the account that was registered. And I believe that you have to have the snapshot's going to be based on the account, which is then going back to the Zum account with the Trustline. Right. So I think that has to be in Zum or wherever else you're setting up your Trustline. I think there's a couple other ways to do it.
Yeah, we'll get some clarification on that.
We'll get a little clarity. We need to pull one of the boxes of clarity down that will clarify that one. You know what, Chip? You know what's interesting though? You know, we talk about Ethereum, and we reference some of the building and projects that are going on, like with this airdrop, and the idea of having a DEX on the ledger, or even some of the NFTs on the ledger. Look at last night, we kind of went through and we're looking at some different assets and trying to log in through MetaMask and figuring out how do you get this asset, right? And we know we have to move the tokens over. And again, it's through Ethereum. You move the Ethereum, and it's amazing to me, how much we end up paying in gas fees.
Incredible.
So at the end of the day, we must have paid, just per 1,000 that was sent over, we were paying at least 15 to 20% in gas fees.
It's insane.
That's a massive amount. That's a massive amount of gas fees.
It's a massive amount. It's just to me, it's a little bit too much. To be honest with you, it's getting to the point of where, come on. I mean, it's at what point is it ridiculous? So you look at the way Bitcoin, at least Bitcoin has a better system in place where the miners who are mining it are getting a percentage for doing the computation. This one here, it's like, I mean, yeah, you got people that are handling the same type of thing, but the fees are out of hand. It's not like and if you think about it, it's really a tax, isn't it? It's a tax. You look at it like a tax, and it's not a published rate. It's not like, well, if you do this transaction, you set it up to do the transaction. It's like, well, I'm sorry, insufficient funds. Well, what is it? And why don't they calculate the maximum? How do you not know what the fee is? Depends on the time of day, depends on the type of transaction. There's so many things that go into it, fluctuating. It's like, how does an asset like that survive when it's up and down? I mean, if you were going to buy a major purchase in your life, your world, whatever, a car, something like that, a house, but you didn't know exactly until you actually pulled the trigger on the transaction. You're like, I'm sorry, I know you were buying a $500,000 house, but sorry, just have insufficient funds. Well, how much is the gas fee? How much is the tax in this case? And you really don't know, and it fluctuates all over the place. So it's really bizarro.
Exactly. So Anna is saying, Jim D, I counted 243 trust lines in one account. I think they upped the amount. So capping out how many trust lines you can establish per account before you have to set up another account. But I think you can set up tons and tons of accounts. Yeah,
I'll get some clarification on that. So we'll see what we have to do. But again, it's coming up December 1st, happening very quick. So it's next week. So you want to make sure that
December 1st.
Yeah. So that's why we bring it up, because it is something that's going to happen really quick. But something else great happened as well. When we're talking about the XRP, the L, again, you have the validators, they vote on amendments. The XRP Ledger activated the NegativeUNL amendment on its network. And this one right here, I saw this tweet by Ally Networks too. The NegativeUNL amendment now active on the XRPL. This important amendment provides resilience for the network when multiple validators are offline. And I know David Schwartz even commented on that as well. It says, while we expect, this is the XRPL Foundation, while we continue to expect high performance levels from validators on our UNL, this provides additional safety when validators are offline for whatever reason. And just to reiterate, the NegativeUNL is a list of trusted validators that are either offline or malfunctioning. So if a validator's reliability is less than 50%, it's a candidate to be added to the NegativeUNL. Foundation released an update on November 9th. We'll have a greater tolerance for the validator downtime after the 2-week window. With that, the new list consists of 37 validators on the network. So what changes after the update? Well, the NegativeUNL, which is unique node list, this is a list that, and again, when you run a validator, you can kind of subscribe to whatever you want. That's kind of the one nice thing about it. It says it's part of the XRP Ledger consensus protocol, improves the network's ability to make forward progress during a partial outage, improving its liveliness. So the point is, it's not going to be where and I think this is important for a number of reasons. We've seen other networks go down. We've seen them struggle. I can think of a couple that come to mind in recent couple of months, but this is something that is going to not hamstring the network in any way. So It means if several validators are offline, the servers adjust the UNL and the ones that are currently online and operational. So it's a sort of like a little safety net there. And the consensus process, 80% of trusted validators must agree to validate the transaction. And again, that's what's nice about consensus too. You need a majority. It's not a 51%. It is 80% of the trusted validators. So before the update, if 7 of the 34 validators were offline, the transactions couldn't move forward, and it took longer to validate a transaction. And as the foundation had explained, the validators cannot maintain 100% uptime due to factors like hardware maintenance, software upgrades, internet connectivity. We deal all the normal stuff you deal with in your normal life. You're doing great one day until all of a sudden your router does acting up. You got to restart it. Well, that would take, at that particular time, that would take it offline. These are just all these validator nodes just hooked up to the internet. Something goes down, ISP goes down, then it's it says a negative UNL is intentionally designed to change at a slow rate to avoid any time-based disagreements. Apart from the update, XRP Ledger is positioning itself as an NFT space. Recently announced $250 million creator fund for the XRPL focused NFTs. So without getting into all that, Jeff, I mean, again, really good stuff. I mean, nonstop, solid news, shoring up the XRPL. The XRPL is looking like a valid network. And now I kind of expect, just putting on my future glasses here, looking into 2022, people are fed up. I mean, it might come to the point, Jeff, where did you just freeze? Oh, you look like you froze for a second. It might come to all right, good. Put them on. Good deal. It might come to a point where people will, I'm just curious, something like OpenSea, which is probably the largest, most popular NFT marketplace, will they start saying, hey, listen, right now it's all Ethereum based, but what if they integrated like Flare? What if they integrated, once the NFTs come to the XRPL? Because people do not want to pay these ridiculous gas fees. You go mint something over on OpenSea, you got to pay this massive fee on top of your regular fees. So people don't want to. I mean, we're getting to the point where it's like, okay, do you want this massive high tax, which you don't really know what it is until you pull the trigger, or do you want to know that's going to be so minuscule you're not even going to care? It's not even going to. You're going to be happy that you don't even notice it. Pennies.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what. The gas fees have got to get the gas face. That's for sure.
I wish we could play the gas face on here, but you can look.
Oh, that'd be so awesome. That'd be great if we could do that. That'd be fantastic. We should try to find him and invite him on. Last time I met him was at a party in Detroit, and he was DJing the party. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll put the gas face. I'm gonna put this. I'll drop the link in there because there's no harm, no foul with that. But again, this is an old school third bass tune. So funny that Jeff and I know this, but let's just say that we do. I'll put this in here. You guys can watch it, but you get the gas face, man. That's what they're going to get.
That's right.
You got to be able to license that one little part of it, Jeff. Just
oh, man, that'd be awesome. If we could, I wonder how much that would be. We could check it out.
We play it on here and we're done, right?
Oh, I'm sure. We'd have to talk over it. I'm sure that it would get caught. Well, we'd have to just cut that part out. We could play it and that part would be cut out. But so $4 XRP is saying, I can't find a way to do a trust line for my XRP address on my Bifrost wallet. Anyone know how to do it? I don't know. I don't know the Bifrost. Haven't looked at it.
Bifrost, the Bifrost wallet. That's something interesting. I'm not really sure too.
Line?
I think you can do a trust line. I know Dollar had asked that question earlier too, but I'm not exactly sure if you can on
not
Bifrost.
Sure if you can. So you might want to look into it. But it's really easy to set up Zum. I mean, if you can just download it, it really wasn't that difficult to go through that process. But I get it. You don't want to have a ton of different wallets out there. Such a pain, and then you realize that you're trading on different platforms and all that stuff. So Jim D saying, I bought Matic to save gas fees on unstoppable domain claim of site name, but lost 30%, just moving it off the exchange to MetaMask. I hate it. That's exactly the issue. I'm looking at moving some asset. I was going to move something from Coinbase over somewhere else today, and then Coinbase was down. I'm like, wonderful, it's down. But I'm thinking, if I transfer it, is there going to be a gas cost to move it? What's going to happen? What a pain. It's just, you move XRP and it's just, you don't even notice, the smaller amounts that get moved over like that. XRP Speedboat is saying, just like private contractors that are hired to extract family from religious cults. I'll start one to rescue people trapped in the metaverse. You know, it's funny. Yesterday that Tom Member was talking about what did he say? The VIC. You gotta
pay the VIG. Yeah, that was, you gotta pay the VIG.
Yeah.
Wasn't that in the what was that, James? That was that one show. He goes, you gotta pay the VIG, man. You gotta pay the VIG. And we're saying VIG, VIG, not the
VIG,
not
right?
The VIG, yeah,
the VIG. So check this out. Yeah, gotta pay the big guy. But
yeah, we know what the big guy is.
So Chip, this is great. I mean, we talk about the movement in the asset space or the digital asset space. And obviously we know where Michael Saylor stands because he's holding a shit ton of Bitcoin. He's got a ton of coins. He's got about $6.5 billion worth of Bitcoin right now. But here he is discussing Bitcoin becoming a $100 trillion asset class and says that BTC will grow 100x. I was listening to him speak on an interview, and he was saying that he doesn't ever see it stop going up. He thinks it's going to continue to scale up. Now, if Bitcoin is scaling up, that means the entire space is scaling up, right? That it just keeps going. But I love this this statement right here. I wish I wanted to use it. Bitcoin is winning, gold is losing as a store of value. I mean, I thought that's great. And here's another one that I really like. I'm not at all troubled with the regulation that's going on right now or lack that of. He's not even worried about it, right? Look, he said that the cryptocurrency is winning against gold as a store of value, and he's not worried about regulation. You know what? Regulation a lot of times is short term because it can be changed, it can be adjusted, it can be amended. Just like Tom Emmer was talking about, there's a lot of things can happen in between. And when laws are passed, sometimes it takes a couple of years to actually roll it out, and nothing is, starts tomorrow. So then you have time to change it, replace it, and tweak it. Things happen real slow, at least in this country. Maybe over in China where they roll out their digital yuan and they crush crypto overnight. But look at this. His company holds 114,000 BTC.
It's insane, dude. That's insane.
He was asked whether he's going to keep stacking Bitcoin at the current price or wait for a pullback. He said, we're going to keep stacking forever.
Well, what would you, Jeff? I mean, so what? You kind of, and even if you lose, you can't lose it. Where he's at and where he started, you cannot lose. I don't think so anyway.
No. It's awesome. So that just tells you, man, that tells you, there's bright people out there. They see the direction this space is going in. Tom Emmer yesterday also was very, very specific in saying, hey, the genie's out of the bottle. This place is moving forward. Right. We're going to get, the space is going to grow regardless. Innovation in other parts of the world. We got to bring a little bit home, but it's exciting, Chip. It's like every night we come on, there's something new
good
and
to talk
interesting
about, right?
and something
It's
good
amazing.
to talk about. It's not like we come on here. We're like, this is
There's nothing to talk about, Jeff. Talk about tonight.
So disappointed in the fact that Gary Gensler.
We haven't talked about our lemon trees in a while, but
but the lemon trees are awesome.
They are awesome, Jeff. I wanted to end on this one thing. Speaking about the metaverse, this is really kind of way it's kind of going to go. It's going to go with something like this. I can't wait for this, Jeff, because you're going to be in the matrix right there. You're not going to own anything. You're going to be incredible happy right there. And there you are. You'll be sitting there in the whole metaverse. You won't have a pot to piss in, but you'll be super happy, Jeff, because you'll have your controller. You'll be sitting in a pile of garbage. And, this is brought to you by the WEF here inside the matrix, which looks a lot like which looks an awful like the meta. And there you are. You won't own anything. You'll be super happy. Look at that. Can you wait for that, Jeff? I almost can't wait. Like I said, I cannot wait.
So
it's going to be awesome.
So amazing. Just want to tie your brain into the metaverse.
Of course, I meant that incredibly sarcastically. Sometimes if you don't put that little emoji after there, people are like, "Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Yeah, it's going to be
awesome,
great,
dude." Oh, what are you stupid? What are you stupid? Yeah, both sides.
Some of the responses
what's up with that meta, anyways? Is it like what the heck? Are they just going to crash and burn? Is Facebook going away?
I don't think so.
Are they renaming Facebook too? The app,
I wanted
just to be a part of their meta.
I wanted to show. I don't even know, and I'll be honest with you. But Bob Moneybags, his response was classic. He goes, "I live at Metabags." That's
Metabags.
John, yeah. Bob Metabags lives in Ohio. He goes, "I'll take a fake world to live in. Beats my rest stop state."
Oh man, kind of true.
Damn, imagine what VR is like. Correct. Yeah, it's just like some crafty people there, but yeah. Anyway, Jeff, it's that time. We do stream 6 days a week, Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then Jeff's doing his solo rants on Saturday mornings from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And Jeff, you know, we have one more night tomorrow here in the U.S. It is a Thanksgiving holiday. There's a lot to give thanks for. We'll probably find out what people are thankful for tomorrow. And they're probably, we're going to miss Thursday because it's a national holiday in the States, but I know nowhere else in the world. But Jeff will be back. Don't worry. Please like, subscribe, click that notification bell so you guys get notified. Do it again, Jeff. Click that like, that subscription, and the notification bell, Jeff. One more time.
One more time.
I think that's enough. Did you know, Jeff, that meta is Hebrew for death?
From Mavet.
Is that true?
Which is death.
Is it?
Met means dead.
Met means dead. So meta doesn't mean dead.
Like muerte.
Muerte. Yeah. So you got this. You got player one. Yeah. Player one. I just can't wait till. See, I'm worried about meta virtual. Version 1. It's going to be horrible. We're going to look stupid. It's going to be really ridiculous, But then 10 years from now, you'll be like, whoa. Go back to, go find your first iPhone. I have one right here somewhere in the cabinets somewhere. It's so silly, Jeff, but that's what we're going to be in V1. I don't want to wear the headset and be looking all over the place, I just wanted to throw a couple contacts in and boom. I want to do all that stuff.
That's awesome. Chip, you can go over to the website. You can check out all sorts of cool things. Pretty soon we're going to have a blog page over here too, which will be awesome. But if you go over to the podcast page and you're like, hey, you know what? I can't find that Tom Emmer video. Click on podcast, or you click on interviews, or you click on search, and you can say, hey, you know what? I want to hear that Emmer. Look at that. And there it is.
There's or you can say, search anywhere,
hey,
Jeff.
I want the Davidson. Look at that. There's Davidson. Holy cow. Or I want some casino coin.
Boom.
Or I want some Mashinsky video. Look at that.
I'll tell you what, Jeff.
Cool, man. That's awesome.
I'm not going on a limb here, but there is nobody in crypto that has a faster search than us. I will put money on that. Nobody has a faster search than us. You can, there's nothing working that fast. Everyone else is, we're on a really incredibly
slowest growing YouTube channel and the fastest search on the website.
Why don't we put that on a shirt, Jeff? We keep talking about all these topics. Can you add that to the list of topics here? But we are running long tonight.
We got EC says, you'll own nothing and can't log out.
Oh, God. I love the brilliance of this audience. Oh, man. You can't log out. It's like, I can't log out.
That's it.
Oh, no. There's nowhere to log out. It's like you'll just be happy. You won't own anything, and you'll totally be in the metaverse, the entire world.
The metaverse, the meta.
And it's not going to be called the metaverse 10 years from now, Jeff. You just know that's not going to happen. Hey, are you a webmaster? I'm a webmaster for a website. It's like, that's early 1.0 language goes away.
A webmaster for the metaverse. Well, now you're going to go to the metaverse and people are going to be coding the web over in the metaverse, and you're going to start back with the webmasters because you got to start all over.
And then I remember then there was web mistresses. That was like there was a webmaster, the web mistress.
Yeah.
Whatever, Jeff. Let's get out of here. That's all I know.
Awesome.
Guys, we'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Coolest. We're the coolest.
Coolest.
The coolest.
I'll take that. Better than what Tony better than what Tony said. That was funny. That was some funny stuff, man.
That was the best. So, man, with that, Chip, 6 days a week. We'll be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow's Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here. Same place, same station, same time. All that good stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, except for the podcast, which is 24/7. But anyway, we will see you guys on the next one. Chip and Jeff.
Out.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.